What's up, guys? Harris Holt here. I'm gonna be showing you my AC/DC collection, which I've already probably most of my videos. It's my favorite band, and to prove it to you, here's my whole collection. Starting with this one. It's not the it may look like an original pressing, well, kind of. Um, it might look like an original, but it's actually technically it's still Albert, but it's just a repressing. But only two of these songs on this album ended up on the international version of this record, which is High Voltage. Which those two are Little Lover and She's Got Balls. So that's the first one out of the way. That's their first effort, by the way. Released in '75, if I'm correct. I might be wrong. Let me check. Doesn't say. Let me know in the comment section. But the next one is also not an original pressing, but still cool to have for comparisons, which is TNT. This is also Australian version. All songs on this record except for one, which is a cover, ended up on the international version of High Voltage, which is, the exception is School Days. So this one was also released in 74, 75, around there. I'd say 70. Both records I just mentioned are 74 or 75, around there. And by the way, also, before I get to the next one, no, I do not have any of Dave Evans' stuff. Although he is somewhat a key thing of AC/DC, he's just not AC/DC singer-wise. Like, obviously, it'd be very valuable to have that single, but that's $800 right there, or maybe 800 Australian dollars. I don't know. But the next one I have is the High Voltage international release, which has all the songs I just mentioned earlier on the previous two, with the exceptions of the ones that were not released on this. Next one, the Australian version of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. It features quite a few exceptions. RIP Rock and Peace, R.I.P. Rock and Peace is not on there, and Jailbreak is not on there. Neither is yeah, that's about it. But like, obviously, if you can tell by this in the other one later, actually I'll show them right now. The track listing, if you pause the video, is different. So that's why this is different. I'll probably explain in more videos about this, but next one. The international version of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Again, this is the international version. Comparing the two artworks of the one I just talked about in this one, there's no question which one's better. This one. Like, what kind of... I don't even know. What kind of person... What kind of drugs is this person on to make this kind of artwork? I mean, the American version's a good one too, but if it had that artwork that it was in the Australian version, Man, that would be a no-brainer. To good record. Next one, Let There Be Rock. This one was released, I'd say, 77. And it's their third album, technically, in America. Even by this point, they still haven't gotten, like, excessively huge in the Americas yet. They've hit England, they've hit Australia. They're yet to break in America. So, next one. Technically my personal favorite Bon Scott record, Power Age, which features one of my favorite songs, Riff Raff. Either that or Sin City, or there's a lot of good songs in here. Never mind. I'm not gonna say my any favorites. Yeah, this is the last record to actually be produced by Harry Vanda and George Young, or the other way around. And I'll get to that in a second, but a very underrated album. Very dark. First effort with Cliff Williams on bass. Yeah. Very underrated record. Kind of like that. There's another record that I'm going to mention that is also underrated, but it's not coming up anytime soon. So, next one we have AC/DC, If You Want Blood. It's a live album. Personally, the best live album I've ever heard. Has a mix of their songs from all the records I just mentioned. It was recorded during the 1978 World Tour at some unknown venue that is not mentioned here, but it probably exists in the world. I know for a fact that it's not pre-recorded. I know that, because AC/DC would never do that. But the next one is also a no-brainer, a really good record, although it's a different producer, but Highway to Hell. And what's good about this record is it was produced by technically my favorite producer of all time, Robert John McLean, who produced greats like Def Leppard, specifically Pyromania, High and Dry, Hysteria, Adrenalize, which I prefer High and Dry and Pyromania, but that's a different video. But he also produced Foreigner 4, City Boy, like the first 5 records, or 7 possibly, I don't know. He also produced the Boomtown Rats, the one with Rat Trap on it. But anyway, yeah, this guy was on here, and this was a huge hit in America, huge hit in Britain, huge hit in Australia. They were on the verge of hitting the big time. Like, the next one was going to be the big one, which you all know that one, but at the time, that record, not this record, the next record after Highway to Hell wasn't even made yet by this time. And even back then, they knew that the next one after Highway to Hell was going to be the big one. So, that being said, next record. And I have 2 editions of this record I would want to show you. But I'm not going to go in depth with them yet. That's going to be another video. So the first one we have is a repressing of Back in Black. And you'll get to the next thing. But, yeah, it features the normal 10 songs that is usually on Back in Black. But this one, my prized possession is an original pressing of Back in Black. Like, who can go wrong, right? Yeah, it sounds a lot better than the repressing, but come to think of it, the repressing is not bad at all. But yeah, this one just, it's better to listen to an album that was originally the way it sounded, you know. But the next record I have is For Those About the Rock. Please salute you. And this is the third album with Mutt Lange on production. And technically the last one. And yeah, this is also somewhat an underrated record, but the most well-known song obviously is For Those About the Rock, but there's other good songs like Evil Walks, COD, Spellbound, I Put the Finger on You, Let's Get It Up. Yeah. Also a good record, but not as good as Back in Black in my opinion, but next record. The other underrated record I was talking about. Flick of the Switch. Especially, I'd say, Brian's version of Powerage. I'd say, at least. And what makes it so underrated is that this is when they left Mutt Lange and whatever engineer they had to self-produce it, to self-produce their albums, so they can get the old sound, which is not a bad idea, but this is the starting point of not only Brian's vocal decline, which we'll get to that in another video, but also a kind of a drop off in his popularity, unfortunately. But they obviously came back, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, and this is obviously, you know what this is. It has five unreleased songs that were unreleased at the time. One was a single. One was off. 4 were off of the original High Voltage and possibly TNT, which is Soul Stripper, Baby Please Don't Go. Those 2 were on High Voltage. Show Business also on High Voltage, and You Ain't Got a Hold of Me. I think it's also on High Voltage. Not too sure about the 4th one. And then there's Jailbreak, which is a single, which is technically on the Australian version of Dirty Deeds, but released in US as a single. Next one is Fly on the Wall. Yeah, this is, again, it's a kind of a blur. And no AC/DC song is bad, but I definitely prefer other records than this, but it's not a bad record at all, I have to say. And my favorite song is Sink to Pink. I like the riff in there. And this is the second album with Simon Wright on drums. Just so you know. Because Simon Wright had to fill in because Phil Rudd got fired after fighting with Malcolm in 1983. So yeah. Who Made Who? Now this one's a soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive, and has some songs that were already made and some new songs, which the new songs are DT, Who Made Who, and that's about it. But this also features there's also a video for it, for Who Made Who, which is really cool. And also a remake of the video for You Showed Me On It Long, which is also cool. The next one, which also features Simon Wright on drums, I'm guessing, is Heat Seeker. Or this is that's the song. This is called Blow Up Your Video. The song, the main song that was the hit, which kind of brought AC/DC back, was Heat Seeker. Now this didn't confirm they're coming back, whatever the word is, but it sure started all the hype back up. But the record that I'm about to show you, which put it in the stone that AC/DC's back for good, was The Razor's Edge, which obviously, compared to their previous records, was a cleaner sound. You know, it was cleaner. Like, they cleaned up their sound so they can get popular again. I mean, not just that, because they're not in it for the money, but in order to get known again, they had to clean up their sound, which that's why the sound's so not squeaky clean, but a little cleaner than, for example, Back in Black, which is a little cleaner than, for example, let's say, Power Ridge. Yeah, this one set it in stone that AC/DC was back. So let's get to the second to last one I'm going to show you. Unfortunately, I don't have Bob Blacker or Stiff Upper Lip, but these two are good too, which is Black Ice. Which is also a kind of a good comeback record, because again, like, they kind of had a little, what's the word? They had a little gap between records, which is the gap was started at Stiff Upper Lip and ended here, which the future songs like Rock and Roll Train, Big Jack, Anything Goes, and Black Ice. And last one, but not least, is Rock or Bust, which features this cool, I don't know what you call that, but yeah, it's really cool. This is also considered somewhat of a comeback record, and this is technically, as of right now, their final record and final tour, for that matter. But yeah, I got to see them on this tour, February 23rd, 2016. Easily, that was the best day of my life, for sure. And song to mention, Rock or Bust, for sure. Great sounding song. This is overall a great sounding record. Like, obviously it's gonna be like, I wouldn't say it's like Firepower by Judas Priest, but it's basically, it doesn't compare to Back in Black, like I said a lot. Like, Back in Black has gained success to the point where even today kids are listening to it, but I don't think that's gonna be the same for Rock or Bust or anything or anything that is new by a band, for that matter. It just depends. But that wraps up this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. Eventually, I'm gonna get enough subscribers. I'm probably gonna put my Patreon, but I don't think right now. But thanks for watching. Bye.